G'day everybody, and welcome back for some more Archean with me and Wasted and our turtle copter that we might see flying today. Maybe? Wasted? Such confidence.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that rotor mix theory was where we ended up last time, and yes.
Yeah, so where roughly are you at right now with it?
I know how to calculate the PWM signal to each independent rotor from the inputs. I know the mathematical equation, but it's different for each rotor.
Okay. So, at the moment, are you trying, like, could this thing hover on its own?
Yes, I believe so, but I have no idea if it's stable enough to actually hover or if it would just do things.
Okay.
That would all depend on our center of mass, etc. Like, you have the controls for it to go up and down at the moment, and that's about it.
Right.
But that's not the same as it hovering, because those controls alone might not be all you need.
Yeah,
because if it tilts at all, you're going to be moving and you don't have adjustment over that.
Right, because one of the things that, one of the suggestions that was said in a comment to me that I was wondering whether you thought there was any usefulness to it with how you're approaching it would it be worthwhile aiming to make this thing be able to hold itself steady and then any inputs just upset that temporarily and then it resets and tries to stabilize again? Is that a reasonable approach to controls, do you think?
Yes, that's fine, except what inputs do you put in? That's where it falls apart. Yes, that's correct. So what you're aiming for is something that essentially sits at a neutral position and then you only ever override. Now imagine the number of different inputs going into the motors.
Yeah.
So each individual motor has to have an input for...
Because you also need to...
set.
Yeah. And you also need to tell them, and tell them how to interpret when I press Q, what that means. I imagine that bit is also quite tricky.
Yeah. And for those people asking, have I read up on the theory? There is a reason why on my second monitor at the moment, this is the page that is currently present. Unfortunately, we can't do matrices in Archean, so we're going to be doing other methods. But unfortunately, yes, I have looked up rotor mixing theory.
All right. Feel free.
There is a reason why, for example, we're doing a quadcopter, and not the hexarotor that Splitsy suggested.
I suggested, and then I built a quadcopter anyway.
Just saying, if you saw the necessary maths for a hex rotor.
Oh, hang on. I need to do this. I need to show your stream temporarily so I can show people the ridiculousness of what is going on.
Archean, I believe, might support 2D arrays, but that doesn't mean it will support 2D arrays only in the purely written code form, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that. So yeah, there is your hexarotor.
Yep.
Mixing calculation.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with us not doing that. Also, designing a hexarotor.
Yeah, especially as obviously which direction the propellers go is highly important.
Yeah. Like
so yeah, we're going to be going for the more simple approach, which is the 3D quadrotor. Only has to deal with this.
Would it be helpful if all of the props were at the same height?
No, if this is done right, it shouldn't matter.
Okay, cool.
This is basically a way of getting rid of all of those concerns and having it figure it out. Okay. Thankfully, we can reduce all of this stuff down to that. The input to motor 1 is thrust minus roll plus pitch plus yaw. Rotor 2 is thrust plus roll minus pitch plus yaw, and so on.
Okay.
There is a breakdown of how the inputs need to be combined to get out a sensible response.
Right. It's very cool that you managed to read up on this and understand it. enough that you think you can implement it. That's really quite cool.
It's cool that the way you go and research for the game is to go and just look at real theory.
Yeah. Yeah. Me, on the other hand, while Wasted is doing this complicated mathematics, will be trying to design something pretty.
The Spruce Goose.
Yeah. Doesn't matter whether it flies, so that's not my job. My job's just to make it look good.
But yeah, to be fair, he was doing the front end, and it was actually quite good. Like, this end looked quite funky. That's quite nice. That
I'm hoping
not so
I
much
can.
yet.
I'm hoping I can do a similar quality job to other bits of it. Though I'm thinking that's probably going to result in the little arms changing dramatically from their current shape. That's okay. I'll figure that out as I get to it. Oh. How many composite blocks do I have actually? Oh, 20. All right. Yeah, feel free to use me as sounding board for anything, and because I'm happy to listen to it. I definitely won't understand it all, but I'm kind of always interested to see how much of it I do understand.
And to answer the question, so why not just make a helicopter if fewer rotors is simpler to code? That's not true. There is also a relatively complex equation behind what the torque output of the rear rotor on a helicopter is supposed to be in comparison to the rest of it that also needs a bunch of overrides depending on what you're doing. So there's still mixer theory involved, it's just different mixer theory.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh no, that doesn't work.
Like, I think the dangerous part with the helicopter is the maths is non-linear, whereas in this it's linear. You're not intending to try and make... Like with this, all the rotors are essentially doing the same thing.
Yep.
Whereas in the helicopter, one of them is definitely not doing the same thing as the other, but has to do it in relation to the other.
Yeah. Which does seem potentially worse. So are there any design considerations I should have in mind for how this goes together and anything I do that might mess with your plans? So that I can avoid
think so. Outside of ensuring that we have all the rotors rotating the correct ways, I don't think there's much as far as design consideration necessary for this one. Okay. I think that's one of the main advantages of the quadcopter is...
It's brute force.
It's pretty brute force. Have 4 of the things. Don't worry too much about the rest of it.
Yeah. Aerodynamics? What's that? Make rotors spin faster. Alrighty then.
What would be kind of helpful, I think, is if we could have, if we can get a way of anchoring this.
So that it can't fly away, so you can test it.
So that it can't fly away, so that I can test various inputs without it.
Oh, I've got a great idea for that. We've got cables.
Do the cables have a torsional strength?
I believe so.
Okay, then.
So what I was thinking was...
You're going to tether it down. Okay.
Yeah, I'll tether it basically in its current position. I'll put tethers going from the 4 corners so that it hopefully doesn't flop off the thing. But if I tether it in its current position, at least it's got some height it can go.
Yeah, no, that works. That's how you'd probably test it IRL. Is you'd tether the craft. Probably tether it in a way that didn't involve using ropes, but something a little stronger.
Yeah. Well, our ropes are pretty strong, I think. I don't think they snap.
I believe they're infinitely strong, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so to do that, ideally I'd like to pop it up a bit higher so you've got more than just 2 meters off the ground. What happened to the amphibious/flying base idea from a few episodes ago? We got to this.
We have a helicopter now, quadcopter. That's what happened. Okay.
Distraction.
As long as there's no further questions, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Where did I get up to? Thank you, Corbin, for the 5 gift subs. Sorry, everyone. It was during the intro. I didn't want to sidetrack. Wasted.
Then.
Thank you, Andy, for the 100 bits. Thank you, Mr. Corbin, for the gift sub.
Job and left myself
Blazer, for the
something
gift sub,
relatively organised.
And Grilled Waffle, thank you for the gift sub as well. Thank you all. Thank you very much. You got the weird golden kappa thing that I don't even understand what it means, and yeah. Okay, so tethering this. Any thoughts on how I could make this go higher? Or tow it. Maybe I can tow it into a better position. Maybe the plane can tow it.
Worth a try. We haven't done any towing, have we?
Yeah. You fixed up the plane's driving yesterday. Last week, didn't you?
Some of you. Should be a bit better.
And was it still driving from the driver's seat, or was it driving from the flying seat?
Okay, so you are M3, you are M1. 4.
I have to look at the code. Okay. Oh, wasted. We went to the bottom of the ocean to make nav instruments. Do we need a nav instrument? Or were you planning on custom doing that for the dashboards? Screens.
The nav instrument has some fun stuff it can output. I think that's the main reason why you might want to use the nav instrument on top of stuff. Maybe not have it here at the front, but if you put one down somewhere... I could stick it to the ceiling, maybe, if it allows that. Just thinking, putting one down somewhere would allow us to output a bunch of information from it at the very least.
Okay.
It's essentially a sensor block. Just happens to have its own screen plugged in.
I will make one of them as well. Just realized I just remembered it and was like, oh yeah, do that before I forget.
Yes, I intend to have the thrust input not be a thrust input, but an altitude input for this. So you will not be setting exactly how much thrust it's doing, it will just be handling that for you, based upon how far above the terrain you want to be.
Which I think is quite a neat way of doing it. Like, I very full support of that being the approach, because it just translates so much simpler. 100 LEDs, that's what I need.
Yes. Oh. No stunt flying for today. This is not one of those ones. Maybe somewhere down the line.
Where's your sense of adventure? Oops. Oh, what am I missing now? Magnets. It's always magnets. Alrighty. One nav instrument. And then I will get on to figuring out how I can tow this thing and move it a bit closer to the center. Actually, I wonder if I can just put this thing on wheels and set up a temporary control setup for it. That might even be quicker. And might allow me to pop it up a bit higher too. Not sure how it's going to be having this upside down. Yeah, I think I prefer it there. I didn't like having it up at the front because, you know, having these big windows is kind of cool. I need to move your anchors as they aligned with the bottom before you have covered the wires and blocks. No, so what I'm thinking of doing to create tethers for this is basically see if there's a way I can move this to the center of the helipad. Then I'm going to put just added extra blocks to tether cables to added extra blocks on the helipad itself. And hopefully that'll be enough. I'll be able to get enough slack that Wasted can try and hover. And it won't move very far. And then once he's got it hovering, and we're happy with that, I can start removing the supports underneath and building in lesser support so it can drop, and then it can move a bit as well. Oh, these anchors on the side, these things, you mean? That's temporary. That'll have to move before I start towing this. I'm going to see if I can tow it. Thanks, Tellison. Thank you for 31 months. So what I need to do first is actually jump back to here and fix up this driving control of this plane. Because it is all horrible. Now forward backwards is fine. A and D should not be going to that wheel. A and D should be going to... Where is that wheel? I guess spotlight. Why not have that wheel connected up to this at all? How will I connect that wheel so I can steer it from this computer? Hmm. God's Fatal Sin, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't understand. Are you talking about the plugins that I've got? Oh, you're talking the ground anchors on the side. Yeah, I can adjust those. They're easy. They're not a big deal. Talking about the ground anchors? Yeah, don't stress over them. They can be moved. They can be adjusted. I don't care. I mean, they're not going to work when it's landed on the helipad anyway, because there's no ground for it to anchor to. They're literally there just for mining, so other than that, they're not actually required for anything. What's an input I've got that I could use for controlling the speed of the wheels? Oh, yeah. You go pitch up, down. Am I using pitch up, down for anything? Yes, we are. Okay, can't use pitch up, down. Oh. Oh. This is all very confusing and annoying. This thing's just shocker. I'm just going to accept it as what it is and try and use it without changing it, because fixing this thing just feels like way hard work. Go. Wolfenstein, I haven't set up the props on the thing at all. I will set them up when Wasted's ready for them to be set up. Until then, I'm just going to leave everything as is, because I don't feel the need to change and mess around with it. When he's ready, we'll do the tests and we'll see what's wrong and we'll fix it at that point. Because the number of times we've thought we've been setting things up correctly and then it hasn't been correct is high. So I think it's safer to just wait till the time and enjoy the shenanigans. So
there is a specific way the props need to be arranged, Mr. Wolfenstein. It is not as simple as correcting the counter steer.
Yeah, you've got to do a whole bunch of stuff. I was just saying, I'm just going to wait until we actually do the proper tests before we worry about messing with any of it. Feels like getting a step or 3 ahead of myself to change it now. Especially as I'm about to tow the whole thing with a plane. Which I should definitely give you the heads up before I do, which I'm about to do right now if you want to witness whatever the heck happens.
Okay, 2 seconds. Let me finish this bit of linking. Where am I? I'm not even on the seat.
You make a valid point, Eisen, but I don't know if I can actually attach this down here. No, I can't. So, it's attached where it's attached. It'll be fine.
I can grab this.
Is it moving?
Yep.
Cool.
How good you did free it from my little restrictive piece.
Yes, I did.
You know, it's moving. Not fast, but it's moving.
Okay, should stop moving now. That looks like a pretty decent spot for it to be anchored. It's much closer to the center now.
Dockwind, we do have a basic rover. It's just there. It's got wings on it.
A basic rover grew wings and became
That's why it's got
somehow
2 computers on it. And one of them is the rover computer and one of them is the plane computer.
Yeah, I think I might detach the steer wheel from the plane computer so it can be on the rotor computer so the rotor can steer more sensibly. The rover, sorry.
Or have it on both, if you can do that, because in reality, having that rear wheel steerable for landing and takeoff is also really helpful.
It is. It's, I don't remember how we set up the cabling, so that's why I didn't do that. Yes, I probably could do that. I probably won't, but I probably could. And I'm not doing it to be difficult, I'm not doing it because it feels like it'll take a lot of time to do when I should probably be just designing our new craft. It is very cool that the tethers work. We do have a slight problem with the tethering of this wasted, which is that the cables are going to be different lengths because this thing isn't square. But hopefully it'll at least pull it back to on the helipad rather than ending up in the drink.
Oh, I got you, sorry. Meh.
It'll be fun to watch.
Okay, where was I? We were doing motor 1. Thrust minus roll. Plus pitch. Weirdly, this is a lot more understandable than you might expect.
I imagine it helps that you've read the theory, so now you've got a bit of a...
All right.
It makes that a little bit easier to register. Oh, did you ever test if nav instruments can be mounted upside down?
They can be, but the screen's upside down when you do so.
Okay. Because I put it on the ceiling, because it looked cooler. Oi, plane, stop. Thanks, Nielsen. Thanks for the prep sub.
Why is my roll sensor called your?
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Q&E is definitely roll. So why have I called it your? Wasted.
Fast wasted, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, that's your. This is roll. Which means I need to go and change the sensor name. Huh.
Oh. No. I think, do I want to put glass in the ceiling? I don't think I do. I think it will take away from the front windows.
Okay. Plus pitch. Plus. Your could be the output for motor 1
Of 4.
And I've done 2 now.
Oh, cool.
The mess is real, especially as I've had to start putting random constant variables around the script to remind me what each bit of the script is doing. So there's just a bunch of variables in there that don't do anything.
Perfect.
Wrong
That's what
your
you
connection.
want variables to
It
do.
is the wrong your connection. That. Cool. Okay, M2 is add subtract add.
M2 is add, subtract, add. Cool.
It is, yes. Yep, 100%.
It makes sense given what you said earlier, but it's still one of those things that just makes me go, ah.
Minus the pitch. And then we add some yaw. That should be M2 done.
Now for the tricky part of this front cockpit design. Not ruining it, because I'm actually really happy with the shape.
Oh no, this is full subtract the whole way down. Add. And 2 is Add, subtract, add. M3 is add, add, subtract. And somehow M4 is subtract, subtract, subtract.
Huh. It's one of
I
them
don't
straightforward.
know. I don't know how this is supposed to work, but that's what it says. And I'm going to believe it. Because someone more intelligent than me has set this up. Okay, so thrust minus roll minus pitch minus yaw.
Oh my god, that might work.
That's pretty looking. Ooh.
Wasted is deep in the matrix.
No, Mike, none of them are plus, 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 and I don't understand. That's what threw me. There is one that's just negatives itself the whole way through, but none of them are additive the whole way through, and I don't entirely understand why. Proof that I am still
weird.
not totally understanding how this... Well, 'cause in reality, what it's trying to... Your maximum output is 1, and your minimum output is -1, so you can't just add, because then you'd end up with a potential input of 4.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Sort of.
Well, that is a mess. In theory... No, this is all of it. This is altitude, roll, pitch, and yaw.
I'm going to be making these shapes 12 times over, so don't feel like you have to rush.
Oh wow, there's actually comments I can just... Wasted.
Uh-oh.
And then the game crashed.
I was about to say, did you just hold down escape by accident? Nope, crash. We really haven't had too many game crashes, to be honest.
I think both of mine have been when I've been doing something coding related as well. Almost certainly flips over and spins wildly on the maiden flight. I am certain of that.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help that I've tethered it weirdly, so it's going to flip and try and do weird stuff. Just because it's where the anchors are.
Possibly. Let's have a look. What's he got? Still looking good.
Just trying to... This transition to the side is the bit I'm struggling to decide how to do. I think I'm trying to make it too smooth again. I need to go back to industrial.
Back to industrial, yeah. Just have some flat edges and some grids, some girders.
You're going to hate me for saying this, but I feel like I want to look at the industrial cockpit from Space Engineers to give me some inspiration. How long until we blast off and leave atmosphere? We've got a while before Wasted and I want to do that. We have things we want to achieve. Ooh.
Is there anything in space? The moon?
Yep, that's it. The moon is our eventual goal, probably. We will try and get there one stage I reckon. Oh, we don't know when.
It'll happen at some point.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, that's going to be annoying. That has to change. The moon is not made of cheese here. The game takes place far in the past. It's still milk.
Not fermented yet.
Yep. No curds.
With the lack of bacteria, could there even be cheese?
True. There could not. Hmm? It almost felt like I've just understood something.
No. No, that
Oh.
was a it just crashed again.
Oh. Oh, that... No.
You know, that sort of okay, what is... This is clearly actually there's something going on here and not just a randomized crash. What is happening?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it might help if I get rid of all these random variables I've got in here for no reason.
Too much reflections wasn't causing us to have crashes before. Certainly causing performance problems, but not crashes.
You're talking to the person that has repeatedly played on the setting that says you just want to see your computer burn, don't you? With no problems.
It just makes things run poorly. It's sort of working. This is real tricky, and I'm trying not to distract Wasted. So I'll just mute myself to him for a minute, because I don't want to talk about design stuff and shapes when he's trying to remember add, subtract, subtract, add, subtract. Nonsense. So... The thing I'm struggling with this in terms of the shapes and what to do is that I've got this front window, which I'm super happy with the shape of. And the scale of each window, like the scale of the side windows to the front window, just looks really nice. But the edge of this is not aligned with the edge of the door, so I've got to get another like 3 or 4 blocks out to fit there neatly. And the shapes that we have are not going to transition to this being a
No, not a bug
smooth
hunting.
shape.
I don't want a bug hunt. I want it to work.
So I'm just, I think, what I might start doing, just to give myself a bit of a clearer idea of where I'm getting to, is box this in. I'll remove this box later, almost certainly, but if I box it in to begin with, it just helps me visualize where it should be trying to get to. What was coming in from the batteries is the reason that these shapes don't work, because it's just this slight change in position, and the slight change in width while you're working with the angles that we've got ends up with a really chunky wall, and I'm trying to avoid the chunky wall. I'm trying to make these relatively thin when I build them. What I was originally thinking of doing just before was actually this. Something like this, where I build this out. We kind of go down the side and have a few bits like that, and then maybe keep going. Should be able to do... Oh no, that's wrong. Let me try that again. I want to go there. So doing something like that, where I've got that similar shape but more subtle down the sides. And with maybe a few ridges in it and support pieces, so underneath the little winglets I could put something like this. It comes in, just to give it that cutout that looks interesting. Thanks, Sneaky World. Yes. Greebler of the hull. Trouble is, this is already sticking too far out for where the thing actually is. So I'm trying to fill in these spaces in ways that make sense, and it is awkward. Really, really awkward. Yeah, I'd like to put a side window in, but once I've roughed out the shape in composite, I should be able to put one in. But right now it doesn't really feel like I've even gotten that far. I might need to remove these bits. Give myself more room to play with. There, and then... means I'm going to have to move this anchor at some point, but it can actually... Alright, the anchors can just float. It can just float there. That's fine. Oh, wait. What am I doing? This isn't where the shape ends anyway. Because I've got the extra 2 layers down for where the hull actually has to sit. Because it's down at this height that everything needs to get to. Because there's going to be this. Build. This will be a good reminder that this needs to be here. Probably out to at least there. Something like that. Should help me remember. Because yeah, that's the actual bottom. And that I wasn't going right down to the bottom before. I think last week my plan at the front here had probably been to do something like this. That's where the shape comes down at the front to then close that in. Okay. Let's get rid of this because I don't think I'm happy with where that's sitting. Get rid of those because I don't know what's going to happen up there. As all this stuff kind of comes together. It's kind of the same as, it's the same in every building game like this. When you're bringing two different shapes together, merging them to one another in a way that's aesthetically pleasing is always tricky. It's always so hard to get those two shapes to come together in the way you like. Especially when you're new to building with the shapes that it's got. At least in building games where you're not allowed to do shape overlaps. Because I think in Avorian you're able to do some degree of shape overlap, which helps make things easier to put together. I think maybe this shape coming in here could work. Then we've got a bit more of a boxy shape to work from. Similarly, we'll put this wall back in. I could see how this would work with the wall coming all the way to there. So that's sort of this shape supported, at least. I put that to there. And we close off the roof to there. Okay. Yeah, starting off with just simple chunky cubes. In fact, I've done that a few times in Space Engineers where instead of trying to make something look good from the outset, I get a rough shape in cubes so that I manage to remember to keep negative space in the design. And they've often worked out quite well. Or better than I would have expected. I'm going to change that shape up. It looked too square. Although that now makes that edge perfectly straight, which I don't like. Means I need to actually do this. Okay. That's feeling a bit better already. It's feeling more that these are now actually part of the ship itself rather than weirdly tacked on. That helps. I wonder how this would look if I go with something quite square here. So what I'm thinking is we need to get out to that. So we go with a slope. Probably from there. There. Go from there. Just put a box underneath so that I can do the next shape on the outside. Thinking something like this. Now, unfortunately, that means I would have to have a full cube on these two. So we don't have a way to transition that, but I could then change this up to glass. Put a little square window in. Followed by a sloping section. Just to make it interesting. go back to composite. Square to there. Oh no, I'm already disliking that shape. It's too small. Let's get rid of those shapes because they don't work. Maybe that's better. Yeah, that's going to feel better, I think. And, oh boy. Oh, no, I didn't want that in glass. I want this in composite. No, I think I might be able to get away with doing that slope to there. Then let's fill in this floor. And that creates the full floor shape that I then have to deal with. Let's see. This is the best I've got at the moment. How does this look at the front? No, it's still weird. The curves are wrong. These angles at the top are wrong for the shape that I've got for the rest of the cockpit. Nuts. They just look weird. Oh boy. This is going to be such a slow iterative process, I think. Trying to get this to something that looks fun, interesting, different. One thing I'm not sure of is, can I just do straight slopes there? Is that going to be weird? I think it is. I think I need to do this. Do it properly. Yeah, that needed to be that way. Cool. Why? Oh. It so amuses me that I'm here struggling with shapes, and Wasted's over there struggling with maths, and somehow they're both struggles on the same vehicle. See if this works. Important thing is, what I'm doing right now has actually added some blocks that I think I am happy with, and that makes the gap smaller to the next bit that I have to deal with, the bit that I'm trying to figure out. One alternative thing that I do sometimes do when I get to a point of a build like this that's just frustrating the bejesus out of me is I just give up on it and move on and do other bits, and then when I eventually come back to it, there's more in place so it's easy to see what shape it should be. However, I kind of want this bit to be complete because it's the bit that we're going to occupy when we're flying, so it'd be nice to have the front end done. Yes, some would say it's an opportunity rather than a problem. Some are relentlessly positive when they can probably get away with being a bit annoyed. Yeah, Coleman, I think that's appropriate to have thrown up a bit in your mouth for saying that. What if I try this? So what I'm thinking is, what if I just continue the shape that's there? So that would be coming to across to, which block is it? Across to this and forward to there. Put that there. Does that angle look okay? I feel like it should be steeper. I don't think I've got room to do it steeper. Oops. Like it should almost come out to there so that the angle cuts back a bit harder. But I worry that, yeah, that's going to bring it forward to there. That's not what I want. But what if I do this? Oh yeah. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe I'm onto something. Nope. Nope, I've done this wrong. That'd be as far as that could go. But it doesn't then slope back and it's all weird and it doesn't work. Arrgh. Why? That might have to just be like that. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll be able to modify the front edge of this to have it so that it has a slope up and down on it. Maybe that'll work. What I'm thinking of doing basically is creating another segment like between these two bars, but over here at the side of the craft, and then have the side of the craft kind of fairly square. And seeing if that's going to come together to be something that's nice to look at. That definitely doesn't work.
Yay, we found bugs.
Oh.
With the node editor.
Oh. That's not good.
Well, it's found now. It's fairly simple, wasn't it? If you you're writing yourself a little statement there, and you include input E in your statement, it will remove all of the other E's from right, for example, and white, and so break the code.
Oh.
Because then it just writes WRIT, and then your expression.
Oh, that's problematic.
Definitely a bug.
Huh.
We figured it out after some brain scratching.
It feels like the
Hence why
sort
I
of thing
went
that's going
silent
to
for a bit.
cause
It
you
was
some
like-
serious problems, though.
It's only problematic with the E because the E is used in both right and white. A, B, C, and D aren't used in any of the expressions we'd want to write. So we're all right. It's just each statement can only have 4 inputs.
Ah.
Because as soon as you get to the 5th, then it breaks the statement.
Can you jump to F?
No, because you have to add input E, and by adding input E, it then breaks.
Oh,
Even if
right.
input E
Yep,
has
I see what you
nothing
mean.
in it.
Yep. Oh. Well, on the one hand, it sounds like you've made progress. On the other hand, I haven't. This shape is driving me insane. It's that trying to combine two shapes in a game where there is no shape that combines the two, and I'm not happy with any of the solutions I've tried to come up with so far.
Yeah, it was in every game, isn't it, pretty much?
Yep.
Is it a block building game? Well, then you're going to run into this at some point.
Yep. Is this the answer? Ah. Hold up. I know what I've done. I know what I need to change. I need to lose this bit. And this wall needs to come down to here. So from the inside we get this nice curve. But from the outside, now everything I work on is going to be clearly set back. Because I think I see the problem that I was facing and why it was just every time I built something I was unhappy with it. Basically, what I was doing, every time I built stuff forward of this bit, I was coming so far forward that it was directly relating what I built to these front cockpit windows. And by doing that, it was making both worse. But if I set it back far enough, it's going to be visually separated enough that hopefully it won't be a problem. The spotlights are planned for down here. That's what this bar down the front is for. So by doing this, I should now hopefully be able to create a shape that is separated enough but still works. Let's just bring this out to here. In fact, bring it out to there. And that'll give me more room to play with. Because what I'm thinking now is I can possibly, now that I've understood the problem, make slopes like this. Do I just go that one maybe? Yeah, let's try that. Actually, I do want to go down to the next row. Well, the reason I think I want to go down to the next row is that that's the height where this glass is at. And I put this. And just going to come square down here. So, obviously right now this looks horrible, but might be able to fix it up from this point to something that looks good. So the width point is there. I'm going to flick this around, go down to floor height. So that it's continuing some of the levels that we established with the front segment. Oh man, I need to fill up my water bottle in a moment. While still giving us something simpler to work with. We go there. I think that's got to go in, but no, that's not good. Needs to go down one more than that. Down to there, and then this would come in from the side, or in this instance, I think... Oh no, I do have stuff I've got to hide. I do need to come down the full block. Dang. I was hoping I could get away with this outer segment not joining fully flat to the bottom, but I don't think I can. It needs to come in there. But yeah, now I can see that the side shape kind of works with the front shape. And then what I can do is I could use some of these shapes in here to blend it. Because now I'm just filling in the space. I don't have to worry about what it's like on the other side of the wall. I'm just filling in this gap until it looks like something that I'm happy with. Yes. Oh, so glad I finally got there. It must have been frustrating for you guys to watch as well. Apologies. It's not exactly what I want, but it's definitely a lot closer than what it was before. That's only 2 blocks, so I don't really have a way to not do this. I think that's the other thing. Where this shape is starting and where it needs to finish. I probably want to stop at... I ideally would want it to be like at half a block. Hang on, let me get some water. This voice is annoying. Ah, that's better. Sort of. Maybe. Maybe it'll get better. Drink so much water while I'm streaming and I now know why. I remind myself why. Okay. So yeah, I think looking at the angle here, it unfortunately really wants to be coming through to about half the block there. So I would ideally set it back, but then I've only got 3 blocks to play with here, and I'm not sure that's enough. I think if I did this... This might not... Yeah, then looks like it kind of steps in too far. It's really awkward. And I think that this shape here needs to be 2 blocks wide, otherwise it'll feel too narrow. So it's trying to decide which bit is the least problematic of these options. I'm just going to try this. No, that's not going to work because then I'm going to have that weird angle, so that doesn't work. I think 2 forward was less of a problem than the alternative. Yeah, there just aren't the shapes to make it less chubby Morbus, unfortunately. I don't see a way to make do that differently. And the problem is out here, but I I literally lack the finesse to do that at a thinner shape. Because if I did this at single block width, it then ends up too steep, and it all looks a bit strange, I think. But maybe not. We'll try. Huh. Maybe that's better. It makes this bit more chunky than I was wanting it to be, but that shape is sitting nicer, isn't it? Alright, we'll just stick with this for now. I like the idea that some of you are suggesting of like intakes and stuff like that, because yeah, one of the things that's lacking in this game is a lot of the blocks that we would normally use to break up a shape. So, greebles. And yeah, an intake would fit that sort of role quite nicely. Yeah. It comes a bit further forward than I wanted it to, so I might see if it looks alright doing this. Oops. Yeah. Yeah. It's not perfect, but that's definitely the best I've had so far. Now let's see if I can make this bit better. I think now that I've got that shape in, I can continue and get something much nicer in the end. Oh, oops. Yes! It's working! I am winning. I'm winning this battle. Wait, stop jerking me around, jerk. It's a bubble. It is a bubble. But I think I'm happy. Let's have a look from the inside. Tidy that up if I can.
What's he up to? Let's go and have a poke around. What's he been doing?
I think I've sort of come up with a shape that works. It's been a battle.
Yeah, especially as you could kind of continue that down the side if you wanted to.
Yeah, that was my goal.
That's a bit of like external cladding almost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, it's a proper battle to get to something that worked here.
Tell me about it. Do you want to have a look at the spider web now?
Sure, let's look at the spider web. Where's the computer? Do. Oh yeah, that's quite a pretty spider web though.
It's not bad, is it? You know,
Yeah.
Just partly because it took some time to make sure that you could actually still see stuff. And then, what we've just spent the last, like, 30 minutes trying to do is if you check the screen, it is now showing rotor speeds positioned correctly for where they are.
Ah. That's an unusual numbering system.
That's down to... I don't know why they decided that those are... Which ones are 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
But that's how they are, and I'm not messing with it. I'm using their math. I'm not doing my own.
No, that's fair. I do wonder how that came to pass.
No clue. But,
yeah. No, that's very cool. So what's this functionally achieving right now?
in theory, everything.
Oh. So in theory you want to do a test flight?
In theory, it's flyable.
Up and down.
I haven't tried yet, but in theory,
oh yeah,
the input mixer is done.
Oh.
They're all in there. It's actually, weirdly, once you know the math for it, the actual setup is less complicated than you'd think. It's just that little block of add, subtract, add.
Yeah.
And I had to go through and work out what that looks to look like and what order they need to be done in.
That's amazing.
And yes, we are almost certainly going to potentially have to work out which engines I need to invert. I'm going to assume they run clockwise by default.
Yeah, working out those next bits.
Well, I mean, thankfully with this one, I've got comments in there telling me which ones run clockwise and which ones run anti-clockwise. So you just negative the anti-clockwise ones.
Ah. Nice. So, with the sides here, I was just looking and I'm like, I have cut in where that door is, but there's a really easy way for me to fix this and make it still neat, which is put another bar in like this and then have it step out one block on that bar and for the door. But probably have the bars coming either side of the door would work even better. So we have bars on either side of the door and then it goes back to the same shape. So I can continue it. I think it'll work well. Now, I don't know about a side window. I like the idea of it, but I don't know how I can do that with the way I've done these, the scale I've done these wall bits, because I'd probably, I mean, I suppose I could do it all glass to the floor like I've done the other bit. Yes. Although it's one block above the floor, which is not quite right. And I can't bring it down to floor height, so we'll see if this looks weird. Oops. I went past it. Oh, hang on. Thanks, Shaggy. Thank you for 20 months. You know what I want to do. Need composite. Go. Now, I like the glass being set in. Because if we have a look out here, oh, actually the glass is at the same thing. Never mind. It's set in on this one. No, it's not. Oh, never mind then. I don't like the glass set in. Don't need to worry. Cool, cool, cool. Oh. Actually bring it across, that would help. Then I can just go doop, doop. Now we go back to composite. And I happened to make that perfect for what I'm doing here. Yeah, the glass is very transparent. I can paint them to give them a tint, which I might do. But for now, I think I'll just leave it. There we go. Nice little nook for the batteries to be in. Makes it look more deliberate. Yes. Ah, okay. Now we are making progress. So I'm going to remove these walls. Now we do them. What I could do is I could have the window running down this far. Maybe? So we have kind of an L-shaped window. I'm not sure if that's going to look any good though. To remove that floor as well. Oh, that's going to be awkward. Nope, we can't have that window. Because we need to bulge out here because of where these routing blocks are. That's tricky. I didn't give myself enough room. It's a bit annoying. So I basically need to have at least this out here. Like that. That's as far in as that bit can be. That sticks out further than the other bits, so... right. I'm gonna need to remove this. It's in the way. Oh, I have an idea. It's cheesy, but for what we're doing, I'm okay with it. Yeah. I missed that earlier. Thanks, the spy. For the prime sub, I think I did miss that. And thanks, Shaggy. Must be the bar looks like it supports the rotor armor, would make sense. Yeah. I suppose I could do kind of start with.
It's coming along. It's not speedy to build in Archean, is it?
No, it's not as slow as it is to build in Avorian, but it's still slow.
It's still not as quick as some of the other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, partly that's because you've got more options. Partly, I think, just the way you select the blocks is a bit slower.
Yeah. It's not ideal. Speed build. And it's also just, it's still new to me. The limitations, the considerations, all that sort of stuff is still something I'm slowly becoming accustomed to. And also the limitations with what we've done design-wise around here that I've got to deal with. Yes, Morbus, this glass has not been touched by Marek. Ooh. I like that. Yeah. To contort my hand to move as quickly as I just did then, but I like it. What's in the way? Why does it not let me do that? Huh? What? I'm so confused. Why can I know? Why can I not do that? Oh, what's occupying this block? What? The frame? No, frames don't stop you from placing stuff, see? The heck? Thanks, Alan Scott. Thank you for the 9 months. The anchor plug's all the way over here, so it shouldn't be affecting it. That's why I put it all the way over there. It's literally that cube. Wasted, I have a weird issue that I need a second pair of eyes for.
As long as you don't mind them being beady drone eyes.
No, you kind of need them to be. There's a cube I can't place there's a cube in. Or anything in. And I can't figure out why. Something blocking from the mirrored side. Oh! My chat's figured it out.
Yep. Glad to have helped. Anytime.
I go. Oh, well. Now I see what you mean. You were right, chat. The tether was the problem. Just wasn't the tether that I was thinking. There we go. See, gotta get accustomed to the peculiarities of the particular build system that you're using. The space engineers would have just gone like, okay, we just won't place a block on the other side. You'll discover that problem later. All right. So, for the door, I think what I probably want to do is have... Let's do the slope chunk out for it. I want to put it here. that the right depth out, or do I need to go further? No, that's about right. So it'll be that, then put a couple of cubes here just so I can work from them. And then we'll do the next slope, which should match this one. I will just put there so that I make it easier to match. And similar here. Yeah, learning my way around the build system is always the part of getting pretty designs that takes a bit of time. Like, I know there are some people who can just kind of take anything and they'll finagle it until it works the way they expect. But I tend to often work within the restrictions that I've got. There we go. That's better. And so I find that difficult. This high voltage cable is going to be a problem. I need to paint it so I can find where it goes. Paint it pink. Is there a problematic one on this side as well? Oh, these low voltage ones might be, but I'll fix this side first and then see.
In theory, I am ready for a very minor test where I have taken Joe's advice and multiplied all my inputs by 0.001 before they reach the rotors, so that I can use the controls like normal, but the rotors won't spin particularly fast.
Okay.
You can kind of see what they're doing before we even leave the ground.
Okay. So are we doing this?
I guess so.
We are still tethered, so...
Yes. Are they powered?
Should be. We haven't killed the high voltage batteries, have we? No, because we're plugged into the base. We're still fully powered. Your computer appears to be not showing anything on the screen.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Doesn't it normally show the program it's running?
Yeah, they're not powered.
What? How?
You've run up to the, you just haven't done the last step connection between the rotor and the bridge you put in. I think,
okay.
if I'm right, that block not far from the M3 is the bridge.
Okay.
Double check if I'm wrong, but that to me looks like they are not currently actually hooked up.
If you can attach to the bridge, then I haven't done it.
One of them is. One side is. Okay. That's still concerning.
Just took, do you want me to go around and check these out? You got them.
Yeah, it's just this one here that wasn't. One side was, one side was.
Oh. Yeah, it sounds like I got distracted.
They're all hooked up for data. I did data, but
tricky little things. Thanks, Cinemax. Thanks for the 6 months. Oh, totally off topic, but something I just noticed. I noticed last week after wrapping up the stream. Thanks, Will Reed, for the year's sub to Wasted Channel.
Yeah, there's been some. I've been having to pay a lot more attention to that than normal. It's the old September thing, and people are making use of discounts and getting like loads at once.
Yeah. I've discovered that I have to redo some of my wiring, but I will leave that for now. Let's do that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's quite a bit of wiring I'm going to need to redo. That's so annoying. So I think what I'm going to do is build in the rest of the walls, discover which wires need to be redone, paint them, redo that one, paint the next one, redo that one, and do them bit by bit like that, rather than trying to fix it all at once or trying to fix it as I go. I think just wait till the end and see which ones actually need to be redone. Make things a bit simpler. There we go. And this gap here. Oh no, that's not right. Dang it. So close. Yeah. The fun's going to be when I start painting this and I add some color to this, because I think adding some color and adding some color to use it to add some depth will be pretty cool. And we'll add something nice to it. Oh, nope. Nope. That's gonna stay. That's too many cables to redo. Ooh. That could work. Just keep it boxy the whole way across the roof. Yeah. We'll cut it in after the door. Yeah. Oh, I'm happy with this. This is coming together. Oh, why? I know why, but why? No! Ah! Jiggles. So much jiggles. I don't want jiggle physics. Oh, that's why jiggles. Wasted's doing things. I was wondering why I was bouncing around so much.
Yeah, it's working.
It's working.
Sort of. I'm just checking. Yeah, propellers are all spinning the correct directions. Numbers I'm seeing on my screen look right. We've got a bit of a problem. Our altitude sensor is on the ceiling. And which means that it's reading we're 6.9 meters above the ground.
Oh.
And so the entire craft is currently trying to go down. Because it wants to be at 3 meters from the ground, which is about the height the sensor's actually going to be once we're not on the framework.
Right. Do we need to move the altitude sensor to the bottom?
It'd probably be useful.
Okay. At this point, should we remove the frames? Underneath as well.
Possibly. I need to also... I need to offset the sensor, and I also need to go and develop an on-off button. Because right now it's just gonna do this. Because it wants to be on the ground, and we are not letting it be on the ground at the moment.
I see. Small problem.
I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do an on-off button.
Yeah, I can see why that might be a challenge. I mean, I'm definitely going to appreciate it when you do figure it out, because the jiggle is making things difficult. Thought I'd add some actual greebles now. What greebles really are. Things to break up flat surfaces. I don't know if I like that one. I think I can use that shape, but I don't think I can use it right there. Or at least not that far along, maybe? Like it almost needs to come out further if I'm going to use it.
What do you think of the idea of just having a physical on-off switch for it?
I mean...
We can put some relays in and just have a button on the dash that you press to turn the engines off.
That's probably... it's probably not the worst. Oh. That's some real spinning noises. I'm glad I at least got the front closed in. I was battling with it so hard at the beginning and I wasn't sure if I should just move on to other segments, but since you've gotten this seemingly close to flyable, I am glad I didn't just move to other parts and ignore it.
Hmm.
Hmm?
I'm wondering why, with a desired altitude and an actual altitude that match, it's still trying to do something.
Yeah. It is odd. There is a... oh.
It's not relative to the ground. It's relative to our current height.
I wonder if the jiggle could be enough to be messing with it.
No. Now I've put it down to being basically 0. You notice it's barely doing anything now.
Yeah, I was just meaning, like, because the vehicle's shaking, could that be messing with it?
I'm sure it is a little bit, yeah.
It also probably doesn't help that the it's not symmetrical. Because the steel beams, which are probably one of the heaviest parts of this thing, are actually asymmetrical on the ground. This is creating potentially more wobble.
Yep.
Is there anything I can do to be helpful for you? Probably not.
Not that I can think of. In reality, the only thing that's going to stop it from anything like this is literally an on-off button. Because any sort of jiggle in the chassis is going to have it wanting to move.
Well, on-off button it is then. So you're wanting to... you're going to make a switch that just cuts power to all 4 rotors. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm going to put a relay in each arm. What did you put in?
I put in a bridge. But if you take out the bridge, all the wiring has to be redone. So, yeah.
All the wiring, the one wiring to each thing.
Yeah, which was the pain. The high voltage was the painful one. Can you?
All right. Do you know where they all come in? Is they come into the base in a consistent location? Could you show me which ones they are internally?
There's actually another spot we could put a bridge. We could go bridge to relay to then motor.
If you've got a spot that it works, then cool.
Yeah, I think I can.
I just don't know what you got in there, and I don't want to start poking holes in it without.
Yeah. So if you come
knowing what
underneath
you're up
wasted.
to.
So for example, on this one, I've got all these spaces under here that can be.
Oh,
you can put it in.
Yes.
So then you could disconnect just from the side of the.
Yep. And then I've also got that router there to connect the bridges up to.
Yep.
Bridges?
Relay.
Even.
Yeah.
And that way I can address the relays via the router.
Yep. And the rear ones should have. Yep. You can remove the bit underneath and do the same thing, and then we can just fill in the gaps later. So that saves us having to redo those wires. I am going to have to redo some of those wires, but it's just those are the
fair.
most fiddly of the wires.
No, I can imagine.
Trying to avoid redoing them where I can. Fishlaw suggesting to me to change anything on any of the rotors is suggesting to the wrong person. I ain't touching anything of Wasted's right now.
I will murder you.
Justified.
And I know how it is because I've got comments in my code that know how each rotor's set up, so I will be able to come back and check and be like, who's messed with it?
Nope, I'm not touching anything. I imagine if it was easy for Wasted to have set some hysteresis in his values so that the jiggle didn't cause problems, he would have.
I haven't done anything, because I am using PID controllers for this, so yes, I can do that. I haven't currently, because I wanted... There's no point in me doing things like hysteresis and messing around with the PID controllers too far before I know the basic functionality works. Yeah. I could mess with a whole bunch of settings and then find out that actually I've made a fundamental flaw with how I've set it up. That means that the whole thing needs to be redone anyway.
Yep. Is this the same as SE ribs for interest? Yeah, it is. You add extra shapes in to allow you to transition between shapes you do have and shapes you want. Like, because you can't do everything exactly the shapes that you might want to, having transitions with ribs is one of the most aesthetically pleasing ways to do it. The shaping technique that I've given Capac grief for before, because of course, was using not ribs, but just spamming slopes to try and break up a surface. Which if used sparingly can look okay, but when you use it over the whole ship and turn your thing into basically a dragon that apparently really wants to be sandpaper, it's weird. This section's gonna actually just have to be square. Yeah, flying cheese grater. But it was something that Capac used to use a lot on his design work, and it did kind of stick out that he was doing it. It wasn't the best option he could have chosen. How that's gonna work. I think that leaves that looking too chunky. Yeah, it does. I'm expecting the anchors to be a thing that caused me so much trouble with this. That probably needs to be longer than that even. Yes, that should work.
Not done too badly here. This is this easy a modification to go and make.
Yeah. I'm glad it's
things are in the right places for us to just be able to go and do it.
yeah, yeah, and I'm glad I left enough room and I made the arms big enough to have room for extra things that I hadn't realized were going to be important.
We've learnt from previous encounters, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Okay, now I get to be the fun bit where I have to work out how you make button on dashboard work.
Ah, that does sound fun. And this. So once you've got that button, we untether and do a test flight, right?
Yeah, I get so.
Whatever happens, happens.
Right.
So what is this vehicle supposed to be used for? Flying places, maybe mining some stuff. Most of it. Looking cool, teaching us things.
So it literally has one data port, and you send a 1 to it.
That's good.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Not bad. Sure, I'll have to rip out most of what I just did, but as I progress further, but I'm happy with it for the moment. Yeah. Yeah, there's really no specific purpose to most of the things we build in this. It's not like we're playing a survival mode game where there's some survival goal we're shooting for. It's really just building for the sake of what can we build that's cool, what can Waste and I build together that might be fun to build together. And this was what we ended up coming to. There's storage. There's this cargo right here. But yeah, lights are a thing I haven't built yet. Quadcopters, they're... I feel like they're interesting if they're challenging to do. If they're the easy option, it's... I don't know. I think the prevalence of drones, I can understand why you might feel like they're a bit dull in some way. Because drones are everywhere, and so you just see quadcopters everywhere. But it's also about how you design it and the scale of the thing. Yeah, this might work better if it goes back further. It's less interesting that way, but I think it actually fits better. No laundry room, no brig. Has one room. One room only. Yeah. That's given it, especially with the time of day that that we're looking at, with the sun casting those shadows, it really makes the top of it have an interesting pattern. This working out how this is all going to fit together is going to be...
Yeah, I know how to use dashboard stuff now.
Oh, cool.
Switches and lights and whatnot.
Nice. Speaking of lights, we do have some lights, internal ones at least. We don't have any external ones yet, though.
Named them anything useful?
Probably not.
External ones could live, you know, that little gap we've got where the where I've just been messing with everything. See no reason why external couldn't just live in there.
Have some downlights there.
Pointing downwards and potentially forwards as well.
Well, I was going to put
the router right here.
I was going to put some forward ones down here on this front bar as well.
Yep.
So yeah, we could have 2 forward ones, 1 on each side there, and 2 down low. I've been so preoccupied with trying to get an armor shape that, or a hull shape, that I haven't really even started on any of the lights. Hang on, one is light interior 1, and one is light interior 2. Light int.
Light int 1, light int 2.
Yep.
Okay, and we are now equipped with rotor on-off buttons.
Nice.
They're all hooked up, and I believe should be functional.
So
right now they should all be off, so let me go and have a look. You actually off? You are getting 0 watts of power? That would suggest you are off, yes.
Off is good.
Now, seats.
Yes. What about the seats?
What do we want them to do? Oh, and simultaneously, where's the nearest roof to plug this nav instrument in? Because that'll need power and stuff.
Probably the one on the roof.
Leave it there. Okay, yep. Yes, yeah, so as it currently stands, left seat is set up with a few bits for the piloting. I'll add a few more bits to the dash. Well, do we want a duplicate on the right seat, or do we want the right seat to be doing other things?
I guess a duplicate could make some sense, because when there are, then we can both do both controls if we need to, and so we can kind of dynamically change who's doing what. But then also, Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know.
how about a duplicate, but there's a switch that you have to flip
Oh yeah, to take over control.
in order to take over control, so that we don't have dual inputs going in.
Yep. The other thing would be if we eventually want to put some wheels on this so we can at least taxi a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we could have driver
And
controls and flying controls and have them completely separate.
And someone has just mentioned, actually, and a battery display on that screen might be a good one. Or I'll put another dashboard up somewhere for battery reading around somewhere nearby.
No, battery readout would be good on that one.
I don't know, because if you're flying, you might want the same information as I'm putting on this screen, which at the moment is just those rotor speeds, and then desired height versus actual height.
Ah.
So that's the D and the A, but eventually that'll also have our airspeed readings, our altitude readings, and so on it in a more readable fashion.
Yep. I think because we've got the ore detector in the middle, so whoever's not in the active seat can control that and have control. Actually, whoever's not in the active seat should probably have control over the drill and ground anchors and stuff at the moment.
Those are on switches.
Oh, even better.
The switch is at the bottom of the thing. This side has engine on, off, and then...
Oh, yep, drill. And anchor. Is it the same on this side?
I haven't done anything with that side yet. That's why I was asking you now, is before I do anything with it, what do we do with the other one? Do we duplicate it, or do we leave it as is? Oh, I could shift my numbers over a bit. Didn't realise they weren't quite as centered as I thought.
I think for now, like the functions that are there, well, I mean, the switches should duplicate, but we also probably need labels for them.
Yeah, there's space underneath.
Yep. All right, we can just put a little sign as well, can't we? Instead. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there is no way of putting a label through the dashboard tool itself, I don't think.
Yeah, unless you put something on the screen just above it. But I think a label underneath would be better. Be tidier.
Well, I think it can do labels, but the labels it does are equally enormous, and so you might as well not put them on the dash.
Yep. Cool. The screen mirroring didn't work for a certain thing, but for what Wasted's doing, he should be able to do it. That was just with the ore detector, because we had to mess with their code.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I can just mirror the screen.
Yeah. Because you should be able to do it, because we're not messing with... Because we can do it visually, but because we had to... Yeah. Alrighty, so... I think I want to have a flat band before I then carve this in. Let's get... this wall in place, which is not going to like me. That's a problem. That might be my best solution.
Could have thought about this earlier, I think. that one, like, just mirror the screen. Yeah, that essentially requires me to move the router.
Oh.
For all the programming equivalent of shifting the router, because the router now needs a new...
Oh.
a new slot on it.
I mean, we don't need this before we do a test flight. We can do a test flight without doing all that stuff. I'm happy to wait. I feel like we're close to the test flight, right? Ugh. I'm pretty happy. Zeppelin 2, we don't really need an ore detector looking down. The reason we don't is because you just look to make sure that all around you has the thing, and then that means you're in the middle of it. So you can determine whether it's underneath you without having the extra ore detector there. And they're quite power hungry, so it's not ideal to have lots of them. There are other downsides of it. Looking a lot less turtle and a lot two-tailed dragonfly. Yeah. I think it's still got a little bit of turtle to it, but more so when you're inside it. Okay. That cuts in too much. Where's that shape has to go? I almost want to take this to the floor. Okay, this might work. Even leaving the angle that's down there currently. Especially. I then do this. I'm going to step in there. Sort of works. Doesn't look like a turtle at all now. What do you mean? Looks like a Siamese whale. Wow. It's got like almost turtle shell pattern on the roof. Be fine. Zeppelin 2, I still disagree with you. Because you don't need the highest yield ores in this. Like, the amount of ore you get is so much regardless. And with really low range, like when you're setting the range on the ore detector to really small, you are basically on top of the thing. When it's scanning 360, you know you're in the middle of it. So it's like, cool, I'm in the middle of it. It's all good. Maybe it would be an optimization in a Like, if they make the survival game require tons and tons of stuff, I still doubt it. That it's all that it ends up adding all that much to it. That's the joy of these games. We don't have to agree. Just build what you like. That's not gonna work. Oh, this is the tricky part now, is trying to figure out what angles to use here. I think I might have to change the top side to make this work. It's just doing one giant bit. Like this cuts in too hard. The angle that I have along here, but also I don't have an angle that matches. So I think I've got to make it so that it is a smaller stepped piece. I can go along like this. And try and keep to a particular angle. Don't worry, the floor is going to go. I'm just trying to, I'm more looking at the top end of things. Oh yeah, and the floor is actually thicker than that. True. Though back here, it probably doesn't need to be because it can angle in so much further because there's no cables running around there really. So it hopefully won't cause too much of a problem. How do I then make this? Oh yeah.
What did you call the lights again? Can you remember?
Light int 1 and light int 2, capitalized
Light.
L and I.
Yep. So a nice light int start would cover them all. Aha. Of course.
One small angle for the turtle copter, one giant brain fart for me. Yep, accurate. Definitely going to need to tweak this back end, but roughing it in makes me feel better for when we change the time of day and go on a test flight. There's at least something there. You mean, oh no, there are no in-game hazards at all, really? It's still quite a creative focused game rather than hazards focused. Survival focused. The challenge is in designing something that functions. There's enough things that are difficult.
Where are the lights plugged into? Do you remember?
No. No, I do not. I have plugged them in, haven't I? I might not have.
Yeah, they're connected to something. Question is what? Because I'm not finding them through the router.
Hey, don't tell me I just hooked them up to like a light switch somewhere. Oh, let me paint it and I'll follow it. Oh, I think I did. I think I just have a straight old plain light switch somewhere. Wait, where did I go
No,
with
that's
that?
fine.
Hang on. Let me see if I can find it again. I've lost it. And that goes up to there, which goes into this data junction. Then this pink goes back to here, round to here, through there, down to here. Where does this go? Oh, you can go inside the cable. That helps.
Yeah, if there's a data junction in line, then I can't control it via a router anyway, I don't think.
Oh. Where the heck have I
think they
taken this thing?
wipe aliases out.
Oh, so the junk. Okay, because it does go to the router on the underside of the
Yeah,
vehicle.
I need the junction to have an alias, not the lights.
Okay, I can give the junction an alias then. I can just call it light int. You like? There we go. Light int. It is named.
Cool.
Ugh. This is going to be another struggle straight bit. That section. Yep. Do. There we go. We have light.
Nice.
Was looking pretty cool in the sunset, but it was starting to get toward the darker end of things than what we'd prefer. I thought. Part of me that thinks maybe I should make the back end just full on boxy. Rather than trying for this sleek look.
Yeah, maybe. Like, it'll brace you've almost got the little sort of, what do they call it? The gull wing bit on the back anyway. So
Yeah.
it's not like it would have no interest at all.
Yeah. I mean, it does have a drill hanging out of it, so again, fitting that industrial aesthetic we were talking about. Yeah. What's wrong bits? Yes, I believe Waste and I are both aware of the geological feature that is on this planet. I'm pretty sure Bacholi mentioned it to us in one of the earlier streams. Or maybe not. Maybe I've just read it somewhere.
I think he might have done, and I just didn't catch it. Honestly,
Possibly. You were doing a lot harder thinking than I was in those earlier ones. Still probably are now.
not right this second. Right this second, I am doing as easy as it gets for this side of things.
And yeah, that looks nicer. Oh, we've got even more switches.
Yep.
Something
I'm
like a
thinking
proper
I'm
cockpit.
going to redo the panels.
Oh,
Redo the panels, get the switches off the bottom of the dashes, have a whole line of indicator lights there instead. And
so
then
whether
the
it's on or off.
HD panels that are, yeah, and then the two HD panels that are down are going to be for battery.
Cool. Did you
So
want
we
to?
can monitor our power.
Did you want to give this a test flight?
Mine can do.
All right. Let me de-anchor us and remove the supports. And up the umbilical. Make a save. Nah. Who needs a save?
You got the top looking pretty mean. Look at
Thanks.
you and your greebles.
Yep. Actual greebles too.
What we calling it?
Still don't feel like I've got a name that has spoken to me, unfortunately. Have you got any ideas? Oh,
Whee.
that's less than ideal.
Should be fun. Some of them are going through the ground. On my end, there's still some left.
On my end, there are
right.
just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ones in the internal ones, which I thought I'd leave there until we were properly happy.
It's just taking a while to catch up with what happened, apparently.
Ah. I can probably remove this one. Just leave the one in between the doors. Yeah, I'm much happier with the without the extra tails on the back end. I think it looks much nicer being more boxy.
Yeah, it was boxy anyway. Why?
Yeah.
Well, that's where the drill is. I see.
Yeah. I don't know what we'll have in these little nooks that I've created in the walls, but I thought I'd leave them for the moment because they look interesting. The ones above the batteries.
More dashboards!
Yeah.
Everywhere, screens!
Especially this one that you hit your head on.
That one, I think we might want to put the other way up underneath the computer, although even there it might get in the way. I don't know. We might just get rid of it. Or maybe I figure out how to draw a horizon on the screen, and in reality that's all we actually need.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm happy to get rid of it. I quite like this space nice and open. It's kind of the goal of making a walkable ship. The belly flopter. Oh dear. Alright, wasted. Test flight?
One memento. My net is being a bit bouncy.
Oh.
Hoping it'll just sort itself. Is this Twitch being Twitch, or is this me? Let's have a look. Steam. TeamSpeak, what do you say? You say I have a ping of almost 800 milliseconds.
Oh.
Understood. That would explain why things were disappearing quite slowly.
Yeah.
With an almost second delay for every block you deleted.
Yeah. It also is why it's quite tricky for conversations between more than just two of us with those sorts of delays that happen sometimes. And why we don't use Discord, because Discord makes it worse. I'm hoping the big holes in the vehicle won't be a problem.
Why would they be a problem?
I suppose if we move fast, maybe they could be. There we go, the doors are shut.
I wonder what that noise was. I hadn't heard that before. What's going on? My switches are making funny sounds. I've got me altitude thing set slightly high by the looks of things.
Ah, no, I'm gonna have to rewire the doors. Oh, actually, that's going to be ugly no matter what I do. That sucks. Oops. Just completely covered up the buttons on the doors on one side. It's fine.
I thought those were the quick access hatches.
They've done something really mean for making these doors have hideable circuits. There's no way to hide them. It's actually impossible.
What do you mean?
Because of where the power goes into the door, you end up having to...
Oh, yeah, it's out on the edge. Yeah, it just...
Yep. No matter what, it's going to stick out. No, they don't have half blocks.
They're quite small blocks to begin with, so...
Yeah.
And how is your ore scanner enabled and disabled? It's just done on the screen, isn't it?
Yep.
Doesn't need its own button now. It's done software.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, that looks more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, fanciest. Touchscreen ore scanners, big deal.
Hmm.
Now,
Well,
did you do... No. Okay.
Probably not.
Data connections from the batteries.
Oh, no, I did not. Would you like me to? Do you need all the batteries or just one battery since they all balance?
I think because they all balance, we can probably get away with a single battery input, yeah.
Alrighty.
Whichever one you feel can be done the neatest, well, should be enough. As long as they're all connected, both sides are connected to each other as well.
They are, yes.
Otherwise, we'll need one each side. But if they're all in one big loop, then yeah.
Yeah, one of the first things I did was make sure that they were all completely connected.
Meanwhile, I'm going to go and search and see if I can work out where Splitsy put this fabled light switch.
Oh, I didn't put a light switch.
Oh, okay. It was just into a data junction and then...
Yep.
From there.
And that's why I named the data junction after you asked me to, so that you could then control it. There we go.
Gotcha.
Batteries are into router.
Thank you very much.
Battery. Oh, what?
What did you... I've forgotten already. What did you call the data junction? I'm sorry.
Light int.
Just light int for that one.
Just light int.
No number. As long as I can actually type, that should be plenty. Yep, I got lamp.
Oh, that's what this can be used for. Bobblehead's in the little nook.
It's all bobblehead. Yep, I like it.
Bobblehead nook. Here we come. I need about 10 of them, I think. 12 of them. Spruce. And then I can paint them into a little rainbow. Because we still have no color on this thing. Because I knew if I put color on it, I would have to redo a lot of the armor shapes to make them work with the color, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, do the color afterwards. Otherwise you will just hate yourself.
Oh no! You can only paint the base plate of the bobbleheads. Aw.
You can't play, so you can't have a coloured collection of bobbleheads. That seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah. At least let us paint the toilet. I reckon it should paint the model. Of a white toilet.
At least let us paint the toilet.
Uh-oh.
Everything's not very dark, Splizzy.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Fixed it. I've fixed it. I think the way that Wasted set up the controls and the way that it auto balances, center of mass doesn't really matter.
It shouldn't, no.
Because it's auto leveling, so it'll just, if the center of mass is funny, it'll just adjust the rotors to compensate.
There are two stages to the script for anyone sort of questioning or wondering how it's working. There is a stage one where it takes our inputs and mixes it with an appropriate sensor. So our up-down thrust input is mixed with our height above the terrain and run into a PID controller to essentially, over time, try and make those two values the same. The idea being that you then set a certain altitude, rather than, because we're using an altitude sensor, not a velocity sensor. So you set a certain altitude by your input, and the PID controller will slowly try and use the input of the altitude sensor to get you there. And then when you get there, it will then stop taking that input and hold you at that part. Then there's a second section that mixes all of these PIDs together, because obviously there's also one for pitch that has a tilt sensor on it, and there's one for yaw that has an angular velocity sensor on it, and there's one for roll that's got a tilt sensor on it, that are all going into their own independent inputs. And then the second section mixes those inputs together to output something to the props that tries to achieve all four things at once.
Hopefully that makes it a lot clearer for everyone.
So it should try and hold itself level and say it needs to be leveled at a different height than absolute level. Well, I can just apply a little bit of an adjustment via, just add an add to our pitch input to act as a, this is the angle it wants to sit at naturally. That's before we've done anything with the I or the D in the PID controllers, because I want to try it first and see how those need to be adjusted. I'm goods at the words, Eisen. You should see. Or even hear, potentially. Probably more appropriate than seeing, I suspect, in this particular outcome.
And, well, you witnessed my good wording earlier this morning.
Yes, you did words good. Yep. I've never heard some better wording before.
So what happens to the rotors to allow us to do yaw?
Now you see, now you're asking questions. Don't be asking questions about that. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know how it manages to make us turn using this shenanigans, but apparently it does.
Okay, so it'll be okay. Cool. That means that makes the test flight more exciting because it might do something unexpected because we don't know. I like this.
I don't actually know. Ask these complicated questions. You'd have answers to them.
Blame Yamino. Yamino asked it. I was just relaying it.
Yes, there is a reason that quadcopters typically perform very poorly at your maneuvers.
I love that the rotors are just sitting there occasionally ticking. Oh, actually, how are we going for our battery? Oh, sweet. 93%. Glad I put so many batteries on.
Oh, wasted.
What do?
Oh, just forgetting that generally dashboards need wiring up if you want them to actually work. Chasing myself in circles as to why this thing isn't doing what I'm expecting it to do when there is a really obvious reason why it's not doing it. And I should know that because I only just put the thing down. So of course, it's not working. Could it be working? Have you changed all your channels again?
Oh, has it done something weird as you've fixed that up?
Maybe.
Yeah, if we could change prop sizes via a button, you could have a submarine. Pretty much. Because it'd be just doing this, but fighting against the buoyancy of the whole thing. Because this thing's going to be super buoyant. It should be able to land in the water, I think.
Yeah, I see no reason why it can't just float. Oh, right. Cool. Ooh, and judging by the fact that when I open these things, they actually appear relatively quickly, my net might be starting to fix itself. Because there was, like, just interacting with objects was taking a good, like, that's 3 seconds now. I've waited after I've interacted with it before it to actually turn on.
Ugh.
Spoke too soon.
Oh. Dang.
I will be back in a second. I'm going to go and check the router to see what, the router, for people who are annoyed at me, to see what lights are flashing.
I just find it amusing. Okay, this is all just being bothersome back here. Why is every shape that I make that I'm like, yeah, this will be a cool shape to work with, this will be really fun, actually terrible? Because I choose style over function, and that means I end up spending so much time fighting against all these things. I guess if I just keep it straight, maybe it'll look okay. Well, it seems like the router thing we've talked about before, and the funny thing about it is, it's weird that in Australia most people say router, considering every other thing we follow what the British pronunciation would be. What wasted the way, like, because it's the route to get somewhere, unless you're Capac, in which case it's the route because of Florida, man. And yeah, it's just odd. Don't know why. Oh, Wasted's back. Is his net back? I'm gonna do this.
Yes, while I do have net connections, I've noticed of late, how to put it, issues have been occurring a bit more often, and they've been coinciding a bit more frequently with high net activity. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the now teenager that lives below me is now a teenager.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, so you don't think you're being throttled by BT, it's you're being throttled by teenager using internet.
By a relative that is using the internet freely at times of day when she should be in bed. If you're watching, because I know you do sometimes.
Wow, that's one heck of a way to get in trouble for your uncle.
She showed up in chat the other day. I was like, hang on a second, I'm not sure how okay I am with this. And then her father showed up in chat about 30 seconds later. Being like, excuse me, Adam, what are you doing here? Because of how RTMP works, guys, it will take it a while to recover from a long period of lag like that. I'm looking at the actual connection speed I've got at my end, and it is... I mean, the cap for Twitch is supposed to be 6,500. It's been pushing at 9,500 for a while now, trying to catch back up again.
The way you were talking about that made me think of a moment of me feeling stupid yesterday when I was like, why can't I even download a stupid picture on Discord? What the heck is going on with my net? I was installing a game in Steam.
Yep.
Steam still does that thing where it uses up all of your available bandwidth. If it can.
If you don't run out of CPU power first decoding. Because that's one thing I've noticed with my dedicated servers. They will cap their CPU out before they max their net connections.
Huh.
They will hit 100% CPU usage before they hit max download speed. Just unpacking the files. Oh look, and it's gone all green. I think it has done most of its recovering now. Let's have a look. Let's reset my dropped frames and see if we're getting more. Nope. Yes, it may be time for me to think about QoS on the router. Well, I don't want the solution to be kicking them off entirely, because in the long run it's just going to cause problems as well. But right now I don't have a solution. And I think it's safe to say that whatever was happening there definitely went away when I detached a certain LAN cable that connects the rest of the house to all the router gear I run.
Yeah, it's kind of... It is your job. You need this stuff to be working.
Ideally, otherwise it swiftly will stop being my job, because I don't think people put up with bad net connection for very long if they can avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like what I've done. Yeah, I think that works better. So with the net working as well as it's likely to, is that takeoff time?
Why do you number the LEDs in this order? What on earth, game?
I thought I was about to get in trouble there. It's like, I don't
No,
remember.
you're okay. Yes, I think we could give it a go.
Numbering LEDs.
No, it's not you.
Okay, well, and come back to this then.
Order replacement. Okay. Understood. That means it's time to remove them all and put them back down again in a sensible order. That would explain a lot. We're moving over to a slightly different dashboard style. The one I was doing was a bit crowded. If we're going to copy this permanently on both sides, I wanted a bit more stuff that was better labeled on it.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah, Knack, that's why I don't have any problems about unplugging it right now, is I know the family as a whole are asleep, and thus am absolutely certain that this is being caused by a certain young lady that is definitely also supposed to be asleep. She's a bit of an ostrich, but she still has no legs to stand on. You can just walk in and out of it when it's on the ground.
Oh. Working as intended, I think.
Pause it down.
There we go. Will adding this extra bracing be too much, or will it make it better? Don't know. Don't hate it. Don't love it. Don't know. Alright, I'm good. I've done as much on the back end I think I can do. Without spending a lot of time on it.
Gotcha.
It's reached that point in the build where I'm just like, I don't know anymore. Well. Hey, we have lights on. Nice.
And the switch.
Cool. Well, as soon as you're happy to, I'm happy for us to go on a...
All I need, sir, is the name of the battery you're giving me the battery information for.
Shall I just call it battery? It is now called battery with a capital B.
That works. Yep, I'm getting that.
Much nicer. I don't know what to do with the back little nooks, but
Oh,
I'll figure
what
something out
the?
eventually.
Oh, wow, I just found something amazing.
Oh?
You can write text to the labels.
As in, so when you mouse over something, it shows a label, or?
No, no, no. If you look at the dashboard at the moment, on my side, you see at the bottom how one of the labels has just been replaced by our battery charge, not a battery charge status. That I didn't change the output, but yeah, I accidentally discovered that labels can be used as screens.
That's quite cool.
so you can have absolutely tiny little screens that you can write to through code if you want to instead.
Which also means you could have the switches changing their label depending on their state.
Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? It's like, that's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I accidentally set the output to the wrong channel, and it showed up anyway.
Very cool.
Right. Well, if you'd like to take a seat, sir.
Yep. Just one moment. Just want to quickly clean a gap I just made. I think the other side, no, it did not. Oops. Ah! I pressed F6 to get out of what I was thinking of as spectator cam. Alright, I'm on board, the doors are shut.
Nice. Why is that a negative value? What the?
Oh, that's not good. Are you pulling, like, the charge coming out or something?
That should be the throughput in watts. I need to get rid of the percentage. There. That's probably why it looks weird. Why it's a negative number, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I suppose that makes sense. We're pulling charge from it, aren't we? So
Yeah.
9.4% charge doesn't seem right. Do you want to?
No,
what's
it's
the current
94.
charge?
It's 93.6 is what I'm
So
reading.
I need to times the input by 100. 93.6 I'm getting out on this end.
Yep, that's correct. Oh. Yes. Yes, I'm really happy with how this came together on the inside.
It's looking great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get to a point with this game where I could design something that I was happy with the look of this soon.
You say this soon. How many hours have we got?
Yeah, I do mean it, even though I know we have played... I can't see.
I got almost 100. 87.7.
59.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, but it, you know, block build games, I
27
usually...
hours of figuring out the ID
Yeah.
controllers and the blooming script, basically. Yep, got
And
you.
building that second plane you built. I usually find that for me in block building games, I tend to hit my stride where I'm like, yeah, now I'm building something that looks good around probably, you know, when I've been playing long enough that I've been playing for like 100 hours or so. That's when I feel like I can build something that looks good usually. But I think because you've been working on so much of the controller side of stuff, I've been able to spend so much more time with the design. And also you'd think over time, I'd get quicker at this, but I'm not sure.
Now, the real question is, how hard do we want to go at this? Because right now, it's set up in trainer mode, with all of our control inputs multiplied by negative 100%, essentially. So they're reduced massively.
I think start with that just because...
It won't fly like that.
Okay. So 1%?
It will just spin. No, because we're doing it based on altitude. As opposed to actual thrust, even that at 1% will basically not work.
All right, full power it is then. Let's just do it. What's the worst that could happen? We have to figure out how to flip this thing over. It's not that disastrous. We've flipped plenty of vehicles over already. In fact, it's been a while since we had to.
You want to fly? Then I can watch the screens.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yep. Okay, so fill you in. You've got DNA. It is aware that the craft is a certain amount tall. I've got it currently set to being 3.8 meters tall. It turns out after all the adjustments, we're actually only 3.6 meters tall.
Okay.
You see why right now it's at 0.2 desired height.
Yep.
That is because I have that set to the wrong number. There you go. I've just adjusted it to 3.6. So now it's quite happy to sit where we are. Your control and space are altitude requests.
Okay.
So that will change the D number to the altitude you want to be at.
Yep.
Or I think it'll just be flat in meters altitude you want to be at.
Uh-huh.
And then all the other numbers should kind of automatically populate. And the control should be what you would expect them to be. So, you know, WASD, QE.
So Q and E are yaw or Q and E are roll?
Roll.
And
A and D are
yaw. Yaw. Okay.
And W and S are pitch. And control and space is your altitude.
Okay.
And then we still have the emergency T button to go reset everything, please help.
Okay, cool. So one thing I'm noticing is we need to move the switches from the bottom, possibly to a bar in the middle. Because my knee blocks all the switches.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean. The bottom switch are not accessible.
Yeah.
The top line is, but the bottom one isn't. I mean, I can enable your thrust for you, because I also have a switch.
Yep.
Yes, the light switch does work.
Come on.
It's not currently connected to an LED. I was working on that, but that was what was all numbered weird. We also have seat occupancy LEDs.
Oh, that's what the light. That's what that LED
the
is.
one light that's on tells you the other seat is occupied. Okay, that one might not work. This one does. Your one, I think, got broke. The one on your side to tell if I'm in or not got broken in the switching of the controls down to the bottom. Because that one's now numbered something different.
Right.
It moved all the numbers around.
Hang on. Actually, yeah. All right. You ready?
Yes. I mean, I'm going to do that.
Uh-huh.
I'll turn the lights off so we can
go.
see better. All right, give it a go.
Have you turned the thrusters on?
No. Congrats. My switch didn't switch.
Can you switch my switch? Can you reach? Is the one on the left?
There is, but it didn't do anything. I mean, try giving it more demand. Okay.
Shall I put that back to 0?
No, I mean, the fact that they're all the same is good because you've not entered any your or other inputs. You know what I mean? So the M1, 3, all of those different outputs should all be identical right now.
Yep, and they are, but it's not doing the things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that I do notice. One moment, please. They are
Suppose I should
currently
stay in the control
not getting
seat.
any power. Input voltage is 0.
Oh. They did get reconnected after you did the... Yeah.
Yep, they did. Yep, they're fully connected. Let me, toggle your switch.
Do you want to look at the
Still
input?
input voltage 0, so I think I know what's going on here.
I'm just waiting for it to suddenly just go woof,
Yeah.
and you to be in non-collider mode so that you just slip through the floor and you're like, uh-oh.
All right, let's try. Activating splitsy switch again. Still input voltage 0.
Yep. Oh.
Batteries are fine. We got charge on the...
Yeah.
No, this is program related.
Plenty of charge.
Oh, wait. Right. It's still connected to the left dash, but the left dash doesn't have...
Jeez, Galadas's comment on your end. It's so stable, it's like it's not even moving. Wow.
Wait, it's... Right.
Huh?
Gotcha. Wrong channel.
I'm just looking forward to seeing this thing in a hover and then hopping out of the pilot seat and just walking around.
That should be something we can do.
Yeah. I think that'll be cool.
Yes. Let's say wrong channel. You're 10, right?
Because this is one of those rare games where you can move around on a moving vehicle.
No, you're 12. Right, that makes sense. Okay, sit.
Yep, sitting.
Don't know the voltage.
Nothing.
It knows it's a high voltage relay. And that channel from the left dash, channel 10, should be turning it on.
Are all the relays named differently?
No, they should be all be called E-relay.
I think they have to be individual names.
No, you can put a star. I mean, maybe they... Oh, yes, they do. Okay.
Yeah, they have to have their own independent names.
Understood. In which case, prepare for things to get a bit wonky for a second.
Want me to turn the thrust off?
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Did that turn it off?
Yes. Probably gonna have to do it independently for each one as I connect them to the, Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so...
Actually, you cannot. All right, then.
Yeah, they have to have... Yeah. Every device has to have its own name, but you can use the... What's the...
Asterisk to get yourself,
yeah. So that you can then address all of them at once.
All right, this code shouldn't need changing for that to function then, because it was... The asterisk is the Y. But, that shouldn't matter. All right. Prepared?
I am prepared. Thrusters are on? They look like they're on.
3 of them are on.
I guess we should,
only 3 of them are on.
guess we should turn them off.
Oh, yes. You don't have easy access to that, I forgot.
No, I don't.
I mean, you do. It's on my side. I think my
that...
thrust also works.
Okay, cool. I will try and use that. So which rotor wasn't working?
Back left.
Back left.
Which will be rotor something. It has a number. Relay 3 should be good. It's on. But there's no input voltage. Did I forget to wire it?
Doesn't look like it.
No. So why is it not getting input voltage? The relay is on. Because the relay itself is not getting input voltage.
Oh no, have we lost that cable? No. Looks right.
I just turned everything off. Let's go and see whether that...
Hang on, is the wiring going the wrong way for the relay? High voltage is going in on the wrong side.
Maybe, but let me check.
Do relays have
quickly.
directional flow?
Yes, they do.
Okay, yeah, I think it might be going the wrong way.
No, all the relays... Right, there's also something else going on.
How do I see the direction for the relay? Ah, this way. Yep. The power in for this is coming from the prop.
Okay, can you...
Yeah, I'll fix it. There we go. It's spinning. Well, we've achieved yaw at least.
See, yaw is possible. Not intentionally, but, you know, we still did it. Yay! Right,
okay.
Your thrust is a bit more visible for me now.
Oh, right.
Can you see it now?
I can see it now.
I'll put it between your legs.
You have put it directly between my legs. Okay. So, thrust is currently off or on?
Down is off.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Please don't tell me we're too heavy to take off.
Right, anchored or heavy or like what's going on here? We're bouncy.
Yeah. Are we too heavy? Surely not.
Try adding some other control inputs. Let's try yawing us, for example. Nice. The maths does seem to be working.
Yep.
I don't think we are locked down, no.
No, we're not locked. What the? Uh-oh.
Yes, we were.
But how are we locked down?
I don't know, but I did the anchor and then we took off.
Well, thoughts?
I mean, we're upside down.
Yeah. Oh, we're not even in the water. I could see water. I thought we were in the drink.
Yeah, you see what I mean? It's like we're literally hovering upside down, almost. So yeah, here we are.
Yep. Perfection.
It shouldn't have been bouncing if we were locked. I know.
Yeah.
There is a strong possibility that I have reversed the wrong rotors. And if I had done so, what it would be wanting to do was push us down instead of up. Yes, indeed, Zeppelin. This has a vibe of I've accidentally inverted all of our blade pitches. And actually, they should all be the other way around.
So I think... Is it possible we could use the invertedness to take off from this position, flip over, and then cut the thrust and land on our belly again?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, it would be, if nothing else, it would be a test, because aiming to go up, aiming to go down would take us up.
Oh.
Which looks a little like it does.
What is it doing?
Yes, low. Yeah, sorry, we don't have a down, do we? Just lower at altitude.
It thinks our altitude is now 23. It's quite confused over the water.
And now it's the right way up.
I can't thrust.
Yes, because it's above terrain, unfortunately, and it doesn't register the water as terrain.
Oh, that's going to make flying over the water tricky.
Yes, I didn't think about this being a thing. We might have to do it based on absolute. So distance from center.
Yeah. At least I got it the right way up again.
Yep. So now we could sort of gently investigate. I mean, also, hang on, before I change it, before anything else, we also now know the correct distance from the surface that we should be at.
Ah, true.
What 0.4 is our actual altitude? Okay, so... Can we sanity check which way around it's working?
Alright, what do we need to do?
Just gently try and take off. If it doesn't do anything, then it's probably pushing us downwards. And to my eyes, it's doing nothing, right?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, it's inverted, which means all I need to do is get out and flip the pitch around on all of the rotors, on all of the spinny devices.
Okay.
You might want to turn them off, because I can only do this one at a time.
Okay.
I say that.
They're turned off.
Sudden temptation to actually just put it in the program, because that is something I can control, and we just have a switch that flips the pitch on all of our rotors.
I mean, if we eventually turn this into a submarine, that would have value, but I'm not sure we are going to turn this into a submarine. Although I have left enough room on this to put a whole lot of tanks on. So we potentially could sink it.
Okay.
Okay. Thrust
Here
on.
we go.
Lifting. Not the most stable of flight.
Well, yeah, it probably won't be at the moment because I don't think we're the most neutral buoyancy-wise, and I haven't done anything with the PID controllers as to how far they react, how fast they try and interfere.
Ah.
Yes, I imagine it is a bit front-heavy. I don't know. Just send it, mate. Let's see what happens when we just go up. Don't forget you got W and S to try and counter that movement.
I'm trying. I'm failing.
Understood. However, given that that's not a problem, at least we're in the right place to be testing this. I think what we're looking at here is some of our control inputs are backwards. So I think it's right now the tilt is backwards, for example, and it is trying to flip you. It's actively trying when you go up to push you forwards.
Yep. Hang on. Just got to do something quickly. Feel like this could make a good thumbnail for our test flight.
Yep. Oh, wait a sec. I can just change the P to -1, can't I? Any better?
Maybe. Well, okay, I'm overcompensating.
Yeah, you might need to be careful with the control inputs because it will be... Let's narrow down these P values so that they're not quite so intrusive. Oh, wait a sec. No, this is the wrong way.
I don't know what's happening.
I haven't changed anything yet.
It just all of a sudden decided to fix itself.
Well, it should be trying to do that where it can. Okay. Give it a go. I want to see how some of this may be a byproduct of our somewhat weirdly positioned rotors. It's weird that it would be giving more lift at the back. I assume you're intentionally dropping the throttle.
Nope, I'm not touching anything. This is entirely what it's doing. I'm not even trying to compensate, I'm not touching any controls at all.
Okay, interesting. Have you reset your controls, your inputs?
Yep, I did when we landed before. That's a reset. And
interesting.
That's just me trying to take off a bit more. Now I'll see if I can... Oh. I might have just noticed something. When I pressed D, M1 and M4 went higher, and M3 and M2 went lower.
Yeah, I think some of this is essentially inverted.
Yeah.
And I need to go through the sensors one at a time with a printed output and see what they're doing.
Yep. Well, we've kind of gotten somewhere. We've definitely gotten somewhere.
We've gone somewhere. I mean, it is attempting to do something.
Yeah. And it does make me wonder if the differential in the rotor heights is going to be problematic ultimately.
I mean, yeah, I suspect it will be, but I also suspect that we should be able to work around it because it is a consistent difference.
Huh. Annoyingly, I think I'm going to have to wrap up here before we get to fix this fully. So we'll have to fix it next week. But what a view.
Indeed. I mean, would you be all right with me having a look into the sensor side of things at least?
Oh, absolutely.
Work out which one, because that's just going to be nitty-gritty printing stuff out in console.
Yeah.
I might try and figure out what exactly is wrong with this before next time, but then not go and fix it or try it. You know what I mean? It's just like, what is the problem? Let's get to the basis.
Yeah, definitely. Do you need to take a copy of this?
No, I got one.
You got one? Cool.
I got one.
And yeah, I guess the other thing
is the front looks great.
Yeah, it works so much better once you turn off refraction, doesn't it?
Yeah, I have to admit, you have to have refraction off. Unfortunately, having refraction on does kind of make all glass impossible to look through, but, you know.
That is a view.
But it looks pretty great. I'm impressed by how little disruption there is in the glass, because I've noticed with this as well, getting multiple layers of glass, it gets a bit wonky. And yeah, it actually floats very well when left alone.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of wet feet, and that's about it.
Yeah. That's thrust completely off. I like that we can, if we don't use third person, if we restricted ourselves to first person, you can actually tell whether the rotors are doing things. You can see them all, just. You can see the rear ones through the doors.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, is I'd like to be able to mess around a little bit with the lights and stuff to make sure that we've got things labelled nicely, but it's just going to be nitty-gritty work that takes a lot of time for...
It's the same for me.
Not something I can then go and share and be like, hey man, look at what I did.
Yeah.
It took me 2.5 hours, but there's now 3 lights that turn on and off.
Yeah, it's the same for me at the back end of this ship, like just trying to get those shapes to come together in a nice way. I know it's going to take a while, but I know once I get it there and I'll be like, yes, now this is finished. But it's the same finishing touches in all these sorts of games. Whenever you want to get to those finishing touches, you know it's just going to take you so long. The payoff's going to be nice, but not as much as you might hope. Oh man, what are you?
Yeah,
so
the above terrain. Look at it; it just doesn't work. I think this might be part of our problem. Yeah, because every time we get anywhere near the water, it doesn't register it.
Yep, it starts trying to go down and gets very confused.
Yep.
Oh, awesome work, mate! Like the fact that it takes off and it's clearly trying to do things suggests that it's all about just convincing it to do the right things now.
Yes, and I'm pretty damn certain some of my input is dirty, and so I'm getting dirty output.
How does this look with the sunset? Just trying to bring it down. Oh, too far.
Yep, the old Gigo.
Yeah.
Yeah, feed it garbage, expect to get garbage.
So you're going to keep messing with this now?
Yeah, I think I will, while it's fresh in the mind.
Yep.
I don't know, every week it takes me about an hour to get back into where I was.
Yep.
So I'm like, I've forgotten all of the code stuff I was doing. How do I do stuff on a screen again?
Yep.
Right now, it's kind of super fresh, so I think I might just go and like fix the dashboard and work out what the sensors are doing. And
yeah. If you get all that stuff fixed, we can probably just admin bring your version in instead of this.
Yep. Well, I love the current position of our take a screenshot of our two reflections in the dashboard.
Yep.
I've probably got a better angle than you have, but...
Well, I can see you in one, and I can see the bobbleheads in the other.
Yeah, no, I do have a better angle than...
But yeah, I will go and raid Wasted now, and I'll be back on Sunday with some more Factorio with Shadow. But yeah, let's go over to Wasted to watch some more Archean. And I will see you all later.